Excuse me. Okay. Somebody forgot to sound check. All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. My name is Kanipa with Macwa, Standing Bear, Soda Tribe, Fishing Lake, First Nation, Saskatchewan, Canada, Treaty for Territory, Oshawa Bay. Welcome to We Are the Medicine Circle, and if no one said that, they love you today. I love you very much, and we are the Medicine Circle. We just have a really good time here. This is we talk about the Red Road. We live the Red Road. We are the medicine. Really is. This is not the circle. Means that I'm not a preacher. This is not a sermon. This is not a ministry. This is not anything like that at all. It's not anything, patriarchal. This is really just simply us sitting in a circle that looks a lot like, if not exactly like this right here. We are intertwined and overlapping. I am in the service of this circle, and I'm in the service of the Great Spirit too, which is a very beautiful place for me. I just love this thing called life, right? And that's why we're here to celebrate life. If we're not celebrating life and our connection to it, then what are we doing? And then why are we doing it, right? Anyway, let's begin in the usual way here. Let us begin with a little light smudge here. Here we go. There we go. And once again, we're going to ask a couple volunteers out there if they could keep the smoke going throughout the entire circle. That's in reference to the grandmother out in BC that we suggested that we keep that smoke going throughout the entire circle in remembrance for and honoring the children from the residential schools that never came home. So let's honor that grandmother's prayer, please and thank you. Just give me a little thumbs up if you can. Give me a little heart. Give me a little thumbs up if you can do that. Thank you. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, Tony. That's awesome. All right, we're just going to take our time this one. One of those mornings, man. It's snowy outside. It's windy outside here in Treaty 4 territory. Let us begin with spirit. Let us begin with prayer. Let us begin with offerings and a little help from the winged nations. And then, Anishiga, Witiyogna, to all my relations. Okay, was on to me. I love you. We love you. Kitsimana 2, Great Spirit, Creator, Great Mystery. Chi-Megwitch, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for our breath. Thank you for our life. Thank you for our circle. Thank you for this day. We are grateful. We are grateful for our last breath, and we are hopeful for our next, and we live in that place in between. We come here in circle. We mean no harm in what we do. We come here, Wankapik, to sit in a good way, to sit in a sacred way, to listen in a sacred way. We come in here, circle, to be all in today. We come here for many reasons. That's how we come here, but why we come here. The first reason is the celebration of life. Without life, we understand that we have nothing. We have nothing. So let us begin with the celebration of our life, the life of this circle, the life of all nations, tribes, and circles, especially those nations, tribes, and circles that do not look like the two-legged. Like the standing nations, the ones that offer the world breath, we say thank you. To the fish people, the fish nations, the ones who teach us how to live in harmony and balance with the water. The winged nations, the ones who teach us how to live in harmony and balance with the wind and air. Creepy crawlers, the slitherers, the insect nations, the ones who teach us how to stay close and grounded to Mother Earth. To the four-legged communities, nations, circles, and tribes, the ones who offer us and teach us so much about our humanity. We say thank you. And of course to other two-legged communities, nations, circles, and tribes, where we understand that you are our teachers as well. And of course, we celebrate all directions, both seen and unseen. We celebrate those nations, circles, and tribes that offer and give us life, water, fire, air, and earth. They provide us life. So we want to give great thank yous for that. From here in the star nations, the thunder beings also giving us life. We celebrate life of those, the ones that have come before us, our ancestors. And remember, if they are relatives here, they're ancestors over there. So we come and we acknowledge the fact that they have given us life. All those ancestors. We are the culmination of all their prayers and all their life. It's a great honor and gift. So let us acknowledge this beautiful time and this beautiful place and our beautiful life. An opportunity, a great opportunity of life. And we also want to acknowledge, understand that some of our two-legged ancestors were hurt, wounded, traumatized, and abused, and they passed that along to us. We acknowledge that, but we acknowledge also the courage that they gave to us too. They didn't just bring that. This is a time of great healing. This is a time of understanding that what they brought to us is not ours to carry, but ours to heal. We acknowledge our healing. There's a reference not only to us, but the next seven generations. For we only borrow this earth from our children, and our children are only loaned to us. so it doesn't have to be the way it's always been. It's a great opportunity living in the intersection between two unseen worlds. Two unseen worlds. And Kitty Manitou, the Great Spirit, was wise and gave us a trail to follow. A trail that was used by our ancestors. We call it the Red Road, the road of wellness, the road of all people, the road of help, and healing. It's a great privilege to be here now. Gave us teachings to follow. Humility, love, truth, brave, respect, honesty, and wisdom, and so many more after that. But these first 7 sacred teachings are the foundation that we will live a good life, coming in a good way. Connection, this will help us with the connection to all life, which will bring us unity, love, power, empowering ourselves, able to hear beyond the beyond. We come here with these teachings, we will remember the original prayer of harmony and balance, the very first prayer at the center of the universe that came here, that rode the backs of the thunder beings and the lightnings into the wombs of our mothers. And let us remember, after everything is said and all the teachings are done, we will remember as one people that we are one. All right, good one this morning. All right, well, welcome everyone. Once again, my name is Kaniba Whitmack, Standing Bear, Saulteaux Tribe, Fishing Lake First Nation, Saskatchewan, Canada, Treaty 4 territory, Anishinaabe. And if no one said that they love you today, I love you very much. And it's a beautiful weekend. And again, we're just going to take our time. Of course, I say that all the time, but it's just like today, I really mean it. All right, we got the smudge, we got the prayer going. A couple things before we really start out in earnest. Hollow Bones would love. There's a couple people yesterday that came out. They wrote they have rewritten their Hollow Bones prayer, and I offered, hey, why don't you come in the mornings and share them? So let's keep an eye out for them. So what is your definition of a hollow bones? And part of that conversation was, hey, look, as we grow, as we understand, as we really connect to our hollow bones prayer will change. And, that's okay. That's a good thing. That's a sign of transformation, right? That's a really, really good thing, because one of the comments was, well, it's changing, but I feel differently about it. I said, well, what's going on? Well, it seems to be included this now. Well, I said, well, okay, if it does if we mean no harm and it does no harm, then and it helps us understand, connect all that life. Well, then of course, right? Because the colonial world is a static world, right? It's static. It remains silent. It doesn't move, right? Right? It doesn't. There's no fluidity. The seasons teach us that the one thing that always changes is change, right? That we're always moving. So, taking the medicine wheel, teaching into it. So, let's allow this to grow, to prosper, to change. And, at the end of all this, beauty, happiness, oneness, right? So, so that's okay. We'd love to hear your definition of hollow bones, yes, and please allow that to be fluid, right? Allow that to change as our vision changes, as our perspective changes, as our hearing changes. So will our definition of hollow bones, and we'd love to see that journey within you, and please share your journey with that. Also, ancestors and elders. Okay, so it's really traditional that we share, that we honor those that have come before us. In some cultures, there was a question, what's the teaching behind this? So we would introduce our elders first. In some traditions, we would introduce who our parents were first, right? So my father this, my mother that, and so that tells the people where we are from, right? So thank you to Grandfather Tony Stonehawk. He is Lenni Lenape out of Delaware, the Delaware Nation. Been with him for close to 30 years now. And thank you to all the men and women over at Fishing Lake First Nation, to all those elders out there for teaching me such a good and beautiful way. And thank you to the ancestors too. Again, their ancestors, and of course all the other ancestors that have provided me a good life. So, okay, circle medicine. Here we go. So no one is in front of us, no one's behind us, no one's above us, no one is below us. That's the general definition, and it looks a lot like this. This is not a prop. This is medicine that came up the other day. I just love the props, and that's a colonial thing, and it's really important. Props don't have any medicine. That's why we do that, right? So this is not a prop. This is medicine. This is what we're supposed to visualize. This is what we're supposed to sit with. This is a beautiful braid of sweetgrass. Overlapping, intertwined. That's who we are. This is who we are. This is us and the ancestors. This is us and the next 7 generations. This is us and our families. This is us and all nation circles and tribes. And you can plug anything in, and it is all of those things, right? So that's really important. And the sacred feminine too. We have to take a run at that. That's something every morning Spirit says, well, let's talk about this, right? So we understand that colonial community, the patriarchal community, marginalizes the very ones that offer life, which is really, if you just think about that for a second, that is absolutely mind-boggling. Why would you do it? Well, they do that for us. They do that. Genocidal oppression of the spirit. Here we recognize that. We just have to state that once, just so it's a contrast thing, right? So over here we recognize the life givers, the ones who offer us life. We understand that over there it has to be certain shape, size, age, right? In order for them to be considered beautiful. We understand here that they carry a beautiful, sacred beauty. You are enough. You are sacred. You are beautiful. And we have to also acknowledge that the larger teaching here is that we are all beautiful. This is not a race of who is better. That's a commentary that they have now. Who is better, men or women? And it's just like, we don't even acknowledge that. We just acknowledge it. We skip that and we acknowledge the part that we are all beautiful. That's it. That's really it, right? And as my friend from New York said, we are all beautiful flowers. We're all different sizes and shapes. We're all blooming at different times. And the beautiful thing is, we all bloom from the inside. That's what makes That's the beautiful thing right there. It's simple flower medicine, right? We all bloom from the inside, not from the outside. In that colonial world, we paint the outside to make it beautiful while we rot on, the inside, right? We all bloom, we all grow, we all hear, we all touch, we all feel. That's part of the blooming process, right? Raising our consciousness, raising our hearing, raising our listening, to understanding this, right? So, okay, so this question came in. I was thinking about this, and the answer came yesterday, but just a really difficult. You guys come up with some really outstanding questions, so please keep those questions, concerns, and comments coming. I love them. And you know what's funny is most of you say, "Well, don't say my name on." It's kind of like, and that's okay. But it's also okay to be acknowledged when you like ask these questions, right? So a couple of these. This was this. I don't often, get tongue tied and just kind of like, huh, like this. But this question is, what teachings do you rarely go over? It came in, like I want to say, like a couple weeks ago. It could have been last month, right? And I was talking to a couple grandmothers yesterday, and I was gently reminded, right? And then, as I said, I'm like, that's it, that's the one, and I even went to so far as to call grandfather, says, I tried to get him to give me a teaching, right? And he just kind of, just like, yeah. So anyway, that didn't work out too well. So anyway, so one of the teachings here, we all have a value. Very simple, very basic. Right? We all have a value. The majority of the comments, concerns, and questions that I receive are people that are lonely, sad, depressed. Right. So this goes out to you. This goes out to everybody, but you have a value, and we talked about it. We touched upon it the other day. We all have a seat in the circle. Mm-hmm. We all have a place in the circle. Right. We don't bring those colonial values to this table, to this circle. Right. So we're less concerned with your degrees or diplomas, how much money you make, what car you drive, how many houses. That's not even in the discussion here, right? Your 401k, like the way your portfolio looks, we're really not that interested. That's not the value that we're talking about here. Like if you place your value on that, which is what you're supposed to do, then you'll feel less than, right? That's what that's designed to do. Like if you don't have what you think everybody else has, well then, that's not the value. This is simple contrast medicine. If everything begins with the spirit, I need you to write that out. I need you to write that out. So in your morning prayers, everything begins with, this is why we do that, because we begin with spirit. We begin with prayer. They're the same thing. One's seen, one's unseen. That's why we do the prayer is a physical offering of our spiritual. That's what that is. So if we begin with spirit, right? And what does that lead to? Why are we here? Right? What is the first thing that grandfather taught me to do? Told me, he said, go out and pray to everything beautiful out there. And I remember that moment like it was yesterday. I'm looking out that window or the door, whatever it was, and I'm thinking like, because I come from a wounded, traumatized place, I'm sitting there thinking like, I don't see anything beautiful out there, right? In my heart, that's what's literally in my heart, right? So I'm with you when you say I have no value, right? Because that's where I was, right? I saw no value, gift, presence in my life that said I was special, right? Because I was a victim, and now because there's unhealed victims, they talk about this thing called victimese, right? Unhealed, but you see it all the time. Sometimes you see it in the feed here, right? Right? We all have value. Yeah. Seeing that I got this from a grandmother, it's probably a grandmother teaching, right? You know, grandfather talked about it too. So how do we find our value? Right? If it begins with the spirit, if it begins with offering, and then we move to this place called connection, right? Right. So we connect to the medicine, we connect to the sunrise, we connect to the prayers, right? Then we see stuff inside us that match what we see outside us, right? That's why we do that. I need you to write that down, right? That's why I say, every morning is a beautiful morning. Every morning, there's a gift. And it started with me, the sunrise medicine, right? So I was already a sunrise guy. I have no idea why. I just was, right? So I would always go down. I lived in South Florida. I would go to the beach every morning, and I would sit there and just pray. Just pray. I didn't know what I was praying to. I didn't know what I was praying for until Grandfather Tony taught me this. Say, make offerings of gratitude, right? Gratitude is a way to find the value within us, right? And then the short version, okay. So as we connect to those beautiful things like the sunrise, right, we will begin to see the sunrise in us. As we sit with the medicines, as we sit with the stone, as we sit with the water, we will begin to see the matching inside us. And somewhere in that matching, we will begin to see and feel and hear and understand, the value that we have here, right? It doesn't start externally. It doesn't start in some sort of psychological office being diagnosed. It doesn't start there. It can't start in any patriarchal thing, right? So it can't start, it doesn't start or begin or understanding. That's why we have a problem with such a separation, right? It's the illusion of separation. That's what they feed us every day, right? The illusion, well, we have to have an adversary. That's the illusion of the colonial world, right? Over here, we find our value with those beautiful things that we connect to. Right? And then we're supposed to sit with that. We're supposed to embrace that. We're supposed to listen to that. Everything beginning with spirit, right? Oh, this is, here's part of my story, that the last thing that I wanted in my life growing up, I wanted to be invisible, right? I felt unloved, I felt rejected, I wanted to be invisible, I wanted to die, right? Because I come from, because I come from the orphanage, I come from care, I come from foster care, there was nothing good there, there was nothing fun there, or redeemable there, But as I was walking this road, the red road, as I was following clumsily, I was really frail emotionally and, spiritually, right? I developed this thing called, and then at the end of all that, for this kid that wanted to be invisible because of the cleft palate, because of the lisp that I had, because of the color of my skin, that there's value in. I feel that there's a value here in what I can offer the rest of the world. And really, what that is for me, and this is for you to find for yourself, is to find that value and to share that with the world. Share that, find it here first. Mm-hmm. Listen to it here first, and then share that with the world. And the other thing is, like, people said, what's my purpose? I don't know what I'm doing here, just like, and, again, this is the same thing, right? This is the same process, right? I don't know what I'm doing here. I just don't know. I'm just, blah, 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 blah. Maybe I'm sort of here to create a new world. That's a bunch of nonsense, right? I don't fit into the colonial world, so I'm just going to create this new world. Well, that's more the same problem, right? There's things here, the elders, Mother Earth, there's teachings here for us to follow, right? Right? So there's people that come to me and look, my answer is the exact same answer that I gave you right now when it comes to this place of value, right? I don't fit into this world, right? And that coincides with I feel sad, lonely, depressed, right? I don't fit into this. Well, you're not. Here's the good news, bad news thing. You're not supposed to fit into that world. Nobody's supposed to fit into the colonial world, right? Right? Nobody, right? Not supposed to. It's not supposed to feel good, look good, dressing up the outside while our inside's rot. That's what they do over there, right. You know, in their religions, they replace connecting the all to connecting to the one, right? They have that spiritually reversed, right? So here we connect to the all, beginning with spirit, beginning with prayer. That's like if you want to find your purpose in life, start connecting to those things that are beautiful. Until we find ourselves, hey, we are part of this beautiful world too, right? I love you. And actually, there's another. Hey, give me a thumbs up if you should. There's another half to this question. Should I just move on, or what? What should I do here? So, we're gonna go. Okay. So the second, there's a couple things here. We're going to. I'll give my own self the thumbs up. That's a little weird, I know. Okay. So the initial question was, what teachings do you rarely go over? And I was stumped, man. I was like, rarely does a bear get stumped, right? I'm like, I love you, man. I really love you. Thank you for your patience. And this came in like a month ago, and the woman that asked me said, I'm still waiting. I'm like, until yesterday, I was talking to a couple grandmothers, and they came up with it. And just listening to the grandmothers, man, they come up with some stuff, man. They come up with real good stuff. So thank you to the grandmothers there. We all have a higher counsel. Okay, moving along. Oh. Okay. Okay. So, okay, we all have a higher counsel, right? Right. And, this is a really big question. I was kind of debating with it. So, anyway, we're in it now. We all have a higher counsel, right? We're not in the patriarchy game. So this is not like a God thing. This is not like anything like that, right? Keep it, if it comes from Spirit, it's really simple and really basic, right? Right? Higher counsel in the very beginning, the barest beginning. Let's go back to how do we get there from here, right? Right? Right. How do we get there? Right. People in recovery call it a higher power and God and this, and other people over here, they talk about consciousness and stuff. And I'm kind of leaning toward this consciousness thing, right? I'm kind of like, the God is kind of dated, right? And the consciousness, that beautiful connection too. If everything begins with spirit, let it begin with spirit. Let it begin with prayer. Okay, so let it begin with, there's a couple preamble things that we have to do before we really begin in earnest. One, obviously we begin with spirit. Two, we make our offerings, and that is representative of what teaching? I'll wait. Humility. Right. We talk about this beautiful thing called humility. Right. Humility. That is a spiritual. Let's begin with spirit. Okay, the preamble to that it would be like gratitude. I hope somebody's writing this down, man. Yeah, this is gratitude, offering, humility, right there. Right. Right. Yeah. Right. gratitude, offering humility. This is stuff you don't hear in any colonial church or religious thing, right? You know, yeah, yeah. Like if there was a God, yeah, it would be found through the medicines that bring us life. I don't know. So I'm not going to get into this debate. I'm already in it, but it is just like these things, these medicines, right? And this is really why we got to get out of this God thing, right? And we're really in the connection business. Let's just stick to that, right? Let's connect to those things that bring us life, right? Mm-hmm. I think that's a really good idea. So this is an earth-based, indigenous-based concept that the colonial patriarchal world does not endorse or acknowledge, right? That's the difference, right? Then they talk about this God thing, and I'm like, well, I'd rather get off that debate and really talk about the connection thing, right? What it is, what you name it after all this, really doesn't matter, just as long as you connect to it, right? When we connect to the medicines, right? And at the end of all this is the question. We all have a higher counsel. So a lot of us right now, our higher counsel is humility, right? Humility. Humility is understanding, sitting with, thanking, with gratitude, the medicines that have offered us life. The medicines that offer us a better life, the tobacco in here. Sitting with the medicines that give us sight. Like if we want, so as we did this prayer, this is really basic. So as we did the prayer this morning, right, we were holding on to those things that give us sight, both seen and unseen. Hawk medicine, red-tailed hawk medicine. We don't do this to look cool. We don't do it to we do it because we need help. We need help, right? We need help with connection, to maintain that connection, to continue that connection, to honor that connection, to love that connection that gives us life, that gives us hope, that gives us happiness, So for all of us, some of us, at the very beginning, on our way to the higher counsel, is one prayer and offering with gratitude. Thank you. I don't know how to live a good life. A lot of us out there, I don't know how to live a sober life, right? Right? I'm with you. I love you, right? That's just a reflection of the connection that we don't have. Once we're connected, then that's no longer an issue, right? Right. They talk about the 12-step puzzle. They talk about a God connection, and we're just sitting here talking about a mutual connection, right? One where we're all equal in the same circle, right? Right. I don't call God a higher power because I don't think he thinks I'm a lower power, right? Right. I think that we're all sitting in the same circle called life, right? Right. Right. And this is not against anybody who has a fixed idea. Genuinely people that have a fixed idea of God, they take that from the colonial world and they try to fit that in over here, and it's a really difficult thing to do. Square peg, round hole. So we dismiss that for now, and then we connect to the medicines, and then as we connect to the medicine, it's the same thing. One, we will see value in ourselves. And then two, we'll see value in other things, which happens to be, a higher counsel, right? Humility is a higher counsel that colonial world rarely goes to, right? Humility, the circle medicine is a counsel of humility. We are all equal here. That's a higher counsel, right? Right. 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 Love, higher counsel, right? Great spirit, the red road. Like if we're walking the red road, then, then we're able to see things that we weren't able to see before, like humility or lack of humility, right? So this is a really great question. Maybe I'll go over it tomorrow. Should I go over it tomorrow again? I'm thinking about having a date just because I'm really behind on the questions. There's some really great questions out there. I'm thinking of having just a question, like, just a question day, just to answer all these beautiful questions. By the way, you guys are awesome, the way you step up and the way you ask these questions. We're just going to run over. That's your... Okay, so... I love you. So, Wild Card Day. It is Wild Card Day, right? It is Wild Card Day? Okay, so Daily Medicine, February 18th. So we are going over one of the, and I know you see it backwards, so there it is, Daily Medicine, Whispers from the Hollow Bone. Please get your copy. Please support. Thank you. So what we do here, if you're new here, we will read, and these are all medicine. This came up yesterday, so these are all medicine wheel teachings, right? So everything that we just talked about, how to find value, we all have a higher counsel. The medicine wheel is really how to connect to life, that we are a part of a life, really defeating that the illusion of separation, right? That the original prayer that we are one, harmony and balance. We mean no harm. That's all in there, and that's included in every single reading that we have here. So that's like a preamble statement to what we are going. We just feel better, and the other thing is, we just have a good time while we do this. It doesn't have to be real heavy, and we have to take real serious. We can laugh and cry, and all that stuff. And we do. We have a really great time here, and I love you because of that. I love the jokes that you tell and that you share. So. But to get down to business, and like the other thing is, when we get down to business, we just get down to business. That's the deal too. So, okay, so we're going to read this a couple times, develop what we call a general impression, and it's really important that we understand this, that we all come from different perspectives, right? And we have to understand that our perspective is beautiful. It's okay, right? But the beautiful thing is our perspectives, as we sit here together in this circle, our perspective will grow and grow together. That's the magic right there. That's the magic, right? So what we see, hear, and feel before the reading is different than after the reading, and that's a really important thing to know, right? And so the beautiful thing is too, like if we really want to take a look at that, it's like we all come from different backgrounds, right? We are normally people that wouldn't mix, right? We all come from some black road, the yellow road, the red road. Some are real traditional, some of us are colonial, trying to get over that. Some of us are recovering Catholics. But the beautiful thing is that we can share this beautiful knowledge. And we can all sit in the same circle, and that we can grow together. And that's just a beautiful thing. Imagine if the world did that, right? So anyway, the prayer of Mother Earth flow within each of us, constantly moving with us and for us. The prayer of Mother Earth. The prayer of, is it Mother Earth's flow? Or the prayer of Mother Earth's flow within each of us, constantly moving with us and for us. Right. What is your general impression here? Right. It's like, and we're going to break this down. We're going to bring in the medicine wheel, which is spiritual, emotional, mental, physical, right? Let's just take a look at that right now. Let's start there right now. We're already there. The prayer of Mother Earth. Did you know that Mother Earth is conscious and has a voice, has a song? What would be her prayer? They're acknowledging here the prayer of Mother Earth, the prayer of Mother Earth. How many of us thought that Mother Earth has a prayer? No. What would Mother Earth's prayer be? And That's a beautiful thing. Let's have a beautiful time with this. Let's take our time and just walk through this in a real beautiful, gentle way, right? I can feel someone's lighting up the stage. I love that. Thank you for that. So it's just really just like, that's a really beautiful thing. She has a prayer specifically for us. Not only the circle, but the individual, right? Right? Do you think Mother Earth realizes that we as individuals are here? Absolutely, right? Right? Right. Is she conscious of our thoughts and our prayers? Right? 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 Yeah. Yeah. Right? Can she hear our tears? Absolutely. Is she aware of the presence of the tears that we don't cry? Absolutely. Right? Right. Right. Just think about that, right? Just like, wow, right? When grandfather, grandfather medicine, what was the sweat lodge ceremony where we go into the womb of Mother Earth, right? And I remember getting really blown away with that concept. Like, wow, oh my God, this is really amazing. What, wow, I had no idea there was a place. And Grandfather Tony said we were always in that place. And I'm like, what place is that? New beginnings, womb, starting over again, where we're always part of. There's an umbilical that we have from Mother Earth to every individual out there right now. Right? That's kind of grandmother teaching, so I really got to be careful with that. There's an umbilical there that we have to Mother Earth. I need somebody to write that one down. Can someone put that in the feed so everybody can yeah. The prayer of Mother Earth. What is the prayer of Mother Earth? Right? Is there only one? Right? There's probably, it's probably, part of that prayer is the first prayer at the center of the universe. Harmony and balance. Is Mother Earth living in harmony and balance? Yes. Right? Is she trying to teach us how to live in harmony and balance? Yes. How is today's question? We all have value. Like, let's just take a run at this for a second. Let's include that, right? The value, like the value that we have, right? Right. And I'm not talking, value is being conceited, right? Yeah. I'm talking to real, genuine, what is our gift to the world, and are we giving that gift back to the world? Which is really sounds a lot like, we have been offered life. What are we offering life, right? Are we offering life, or are we a world of just takers, right? Where that what you would say God is some sort of cosmic Santa Claus here just to provide for us, right? So we're here to really take advantage of, turning Mother Earth from a relative to a resource. Well, really, we can reverse that. We converse that right here, and it goes right here. It's supposed to go here first, right? When it goes here, what are we talking about? We're talking about the original prayer of harmony and balance. It's all related, and really what we've all been talking about in the last 10 minutes is the spirit, right? There's no, right? The prayer of Mother Earth. Okay, we have to acknowledge that Mother Earth is a mother, right? That's right. Mm-hmm. What is a mother? Mother is the sacred feminine. What does that world out there think of the sacred feminine? It marginalizes. So what does it do to Mother Earth? So what she's doing to the sacred two-legged feminine, she's also doing to Mother Earth, right? So there's a lot of abuse and trauma there, right? Right. So everything, even abuse and trauma, mirror themselves, right? Right. Right. Love mirrors itself. So what we're doing here is we're acknowledging the prayer of Mother Earth, right? Okay, so let's bring the second question in here. I just got pinged, so let's bring the second question into this, right? Higher is mother higher counsel? I think so. Right. And we don't have to use the God thing. We don't have to use that and all. Let's use the connection, right? Let's just simply start there. Let's connect to the thing that we know that gave us life. I think that's a really good idea. Right. Let's connect to the water, right? When we connect to the water there, we talked about it the other day, we connect to the water inside of us. Right. And again, we're not even out of the prayer of Mother Earth, right? There's a lot of other stuff going out there, right? So let's connect to the medicine out there, so we connect to the medicine in here, right? Everything mirrors itself, right? I mean, that's sacred, natural law, right? This is not some foreign concept. This is not, we're not in philosophy class. This is not it. It's already there. We have to acknowledge it, though, right? If Earth is made primarily of water, we are made of primarily water, right? Because everything mirrors itself, right? Right? Mother Earth, the water has a consciousness, right? Mother Earth has a consciousness. She's a sentinel, living, breathing, that has a vibration, a song, a sound, a language, right? Right? That's kind of the preamble statement to understanding that she has a prayer, and she's living, and so she's living that prayer. Are we living the prayer of Mother Earth? Right. Again, that calls into play the higher counsel and the value, right? That's all in the mix, right? It's all in the mix, right? So it's not compartmentalized like that colonial world where, you have to go in there on Sunday to get what you need, and then you go to Mother Earth, and then you get what you need, and then you go to other places to get what you need. No, they compartmentalize everything, right? No, over here it's really simple, right? There's simple, basic understandings, that once we walk with understand, break the illusion of separation. There, I just said it. I love you, man. I love you. Once we walk this way, we will never be the same again. Who wants to go back to that separated world anyway, right? Who wants to go back to that death, sadness, loneliness, depression that makes us drink and whine and cry and be angry all the time, right? Who wants to go back to that? Well, really, see, too late. You got me fired up, man. You got me fired up. Who wants to go back to that when we realize there's hope, happiness over here, right? Connected to there's a beautiful woman that gave me some bear root, right? Osha root. Now, I love that. All these things that give us life, let's connect to those things. I think that's a really good idea. That's the basic premise of every indigenous culture is, and some of us go so far as that we don't have a culture. We've adopted, Mother Earth's culture. There. I don't even know what to say about that. Smudge my own face here a second. I'll smudge. You can't, right? So this is real. Just hang on, you buckle up here. So, right. So we're walking away from this God concept, right? Now we're moving into a connection consciousness, right. So what does that look like? What does that look like? Let's take a peek at that. We have to take a peek at that because some people in the colonial world are sitting there like, oh, he's like anti-God now. No, I'm not anti-God. I'm saying let's try another thing, right? Because that God concept over there in the Abrahamic religions have created slaughter and genocide, right? I don't think that's a God that I want anything to do with, right? Right? The God that came in and said the residential schools, no thank you, right? I want a presence and a value there that brings and restores life, restores hope, restores happiness, right? I don't think that any kind of religion over there does that, right? Does that with an adequacy enough to maintain my connection to all these beautiful things. Write that one down. Right. Get me fired up, man. Right. That's right. Pumping the brakes here. Pumping the brakes. No. So what we do here is we take this, right? We take this information, right? Right. What do we? Fixing. Okay, so I love you, man. I love you. Right. So now that we pumped the brakes, my bad. so anyway, what does this higher consciousness look like, right? What does this offer? It offers an opportunity for us to, hey, look, once we offer, hey, look, man, I want to connect to all those things beautiful. Say it, man. Say it. Have this 30-day challenge. If some of you just out there, this is the 30-day challenge. Jada says it's a 30-day opportunity, so thank you, Jada, for that. Yes, the 30-day. The 30 days. So we pray for 30 days, and then on day 31 we don't. This is contrast medicine, right? So on day 31, for me, I called up Pops, my elder, the one who told me to do this, and said, I really like the idea of not doing this, right? But there's something missing there. And he kind of laughed and said, well, just keep doing it. And I said, well, how long do I have to do this for, right? Until you want to do it. That's what he said, right? So now it's like 30 umpteen years later, I'm still doing it, right? So anyway, so what's that have to do with consciousness, right? So the story is, who remembers my tree story? Give me a little thumbs up if you remember my tree story. The short of the tree story is there's a relative that came down from Onion Lake, Saskatchewan. He was connecting the hearts to the people, and I thought that was really spiritual. And so what Grandfather Tony always taught me to do was to connect to those spiritual things, the ones you like and the ones you don't like, and, for a better understanding is, hey, just pray with it. So I'm sitting here praying with, after he left, I was in my prayerful area, my meditation area in the morning, listening to the birds before sunset, looking at this live oak tree, looking at it, and I'm thinking about connecting the hearts, and I'm thinking, like, where is your heart? Like I know you're a sentinel being, and I know you're alive, and I know you're connected to all the blah blah blah, right? That basic thing. But I don't see your heart. I want to know where your heart is, right? And about 6 weeks later, I heard it brings tears to my eyes. I heard, I am all heart. I am all heart. Do you think that's just the tree's prayer? There's a higher consciousness there, right? There's a consciousness there that we don't get in any patriarchal religion, right? That's a higher consciousness. There's a value there that I didn't see or hear or understand before. The prayer, the offering. Prayer is about preparation, right? Tears. I remember the tears. I'm like, how can that be? I was talking to my friends in the sacred circle there, and I presented them with this question. I'm talking to this tree. I pointed. We sat around the tree. Some people played a song to the tree. It was really beautiful. Made offerings and all this stuff. Some people. this one woman came and offered rose water to the. That was really beautiful. But anyway, at the end of all that, what was said was, "I am all heart, brought tears to my eyes." And so we all had these different ideas where the heart of the tree was. People were like, well, it has to be between between this and probably, the ground right here is probably right there. But it's probably, if like it's in the trunk, it's probably spread out in like the branches. Some really good ideas, right? This is not about right and wrong, but the answer trumped all of us. All of us said, "I am all heart. I am all heart all the time." I challenge you to be all heart all the time. Through the seasons, through the darkness, through the rains, through the winds, through the storms. Can you be all heart all the time? That's And we're not even off, oh God, we're not even off the prayer, Mother.
Tomorrow's
Mother Earth,
continuation.
is that a part of, does that come from Mother Earth? Absolutely. I am all heart all the time. So it's not just as we sit with this, it gets bigger, and better, right? Just have more depth and weight, right? I challenge you to be all heart all the time. I challenge you, like if you're struggling with sadness, loneliness, depression, drinking, drugging, I get all that, right? Think about this, though. Think about this, right? Think about this prayer. Does this work for the alcohol? Absolutely it does, right? Sitting with a prayer like this will relieve us from wanting to drink. It will relieve us of that sadness because it's replacing something that needs to be taken away. And sometimes it's hard to take it away if we don't add something. We talked about that the other day. That's also the prayer of Mother Earth, replacing what no longer serves, right? It's in the medicine wheel, right? What in your life is no longer serving your life? That means your highest good, right? I doubt drinking and drugging are on that list, right? Right. I doubt codependency is on that list, right? I doubt gambling is on that list, right? Okay, I'm really at those. Okay, so we understand that there's a prayer there, right? Oh, so yes, we can replace this prayer with what can we, those things that no longer serve life. This is a really good time to talk about that, right? What no longer serves our life, right? We just talk about it. So we can replace this teaching with that, the prayers of Mother Earth. We can begin with this, right? We can begin with offering, that's how we do it, Okay, the flow. Okay, we're finally here to like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the sixth word. We're on the sixth word, Took us 45 minutes to get here, but so okay, the prayer of flow. What flow? Okay, so we have to understand that there's a flow out there. If they're talking about a flow, then there's got to be a flow out there. If we're feeling stagnant, then that probably tells us we're not in the flow. Sadness, loneliness, depression is stagnation. I don't know if you know that. Feeling stuck. Again, the majority of the comments and questions that I get are about this place called stagnation, being static, right? Sadness is being locked in a room will keep you static, right? Being locked in a room for 20 years, right? And there's some people that are out there that have been locked in the room for 20 years because of hurt, circumstance, whatever, right? They think this thing called God did something to them, but really, Mother Earth is trying to do stuff for us, right? But you have to go out there, a price has to be paid to understand that there's a flow, that we have to get out, we have to do something, right? I was out at a great Okanagan Nation couple months ago, and the grandmothers out there, were talking about this place called stagnation. It is exactly what we're talking about here right now. And they said, take it to the water, right? We just talked about water with Mother Earth, the Mother Earth prayer, saying with the water. They said, go dip yourself in the water. Go dip yourself in the snow. They do that with babies. They do a quick dip with the baby to understanding being a part of that beautiful flow, right? I've never heard that before. I thought it was great. Right? So now there's physical things. I bring that up because now there's physical things to do with the spiritual, because the spiritual and the physical, they have to mirror each other, right? That's natural law. So if we want to walk the prayers of Mother Earth, what do? There's a flow there, right? There's a flow. Okay, so there's a flow out there, and we understand there's a flow inside us. It looks like our circulation, right? So again, that's where Mother Earth, the seasons, and our internal workings, mirror up, right? One doing what the other's doing, right? And you know what? We all have a season within us. We all have seasons. We all have a flow, right? Females look like a different flow. They have a monthly flow, right? Well, men have a cycle too, right? We do, right? It looks a little different, but it's still there. We still have it. And the way we get there, understand it, is we go to those things that remind us that we have a flow in, like the water. A female. That's a female energy, water. Right? We have to go to the source to remind us where you are. This is. Yeah. So, okay. On to the seventh word. We're just going to run over. I think we've already run over. So the prayer of Mother Earth flow, the seasons, the phases of the moon, right? There's cycles, right? There's cycles, there's phases, there's flow there. So it looks a little different, but it's really the same thing and the same prayer. And this is all a Mother Earth prayer anyway, right? Right? Mother Earth prayer within each of us. Okay, there it is. We, us, and our. Forgot to circle that. Right? So, they're telling us that the individual, us, is part of a much larger. Our prayer of Mother Earth is part of a much larger flow in each of us. So they're telling us, the teaching behind the teaching is that there's no illusion there, that the flow is us. The flow is part of us, within us. It may look a little different, men and women, right? We get that, we covered that, right? So, but it's still there, right? And they've even said, where do we go back to remind ourselves where that beautiful flow is, right? 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 And this is not complicated. There's no math to this. There's simply us and our ability to go out there and to do that. Even, even the grandmothers out at like Okanagan said, splash some water on your face. They've even said that. So maybe it's 40 below out, like it's up here, like 40 below out, right? So just go to the sink and just like, and what that's also going to do is physically science and medical back this up, that once we go to that flow, we understand what that flow, then our heart rate and our stress rates go down. So if we're stressed out, a lot of us have anxiety, because that's the medicine that the colonials have. You're supposed to feel, anxious, lonely, anxiety-ridden. You're supposed to feel that because you're a good colonial. Then you're a really good colonial, right? But it doesn't have to be the way it always is. So then we come here We come here and we do something different. We change, right? We change. And how do we change? We connect to, again, the medicines here. See, it's all the same thing, right? And what we connect to the medicines are, guess what the big medicine we connect to? The prayers of Mother Earth. The prayers of Mother Earth, right? And, we can take, okay. I think I should finish the reading before I go off. So, constantly moving within us. Okay, so they're talking about moving. They're talking about flow, and they're talking about moving. So they're talking about change and transition, right? Moving. The seasons are always moving, so we're supposed to be moving. We're supposed to change, and we're supposed to be transitioning. We are in a time of transitions, right? So we are in a time of transition, constantly moving within us and for us. So out there and out here, again, let's go back to that mirror medicine, right? Where we're supposed to mirror what we're supposed to do out there. Right? I love you all. I love you all. So let's kind of reread this again. The prayer of Mother Earth flow within each of us, constantly moving with us. Like this. This is like with us. Ready? And for us. So that higher power, that consciousness, that connection is always moving with us and for us. Right? So that answers the question of us being lonely, sad, depressed. So when we connect to, again, these are all revolving around the similar answers, the same answers. When we connect to the medicines, we connect to that beautiful flow. And with that beautiful flow becomes less, less anxiety, less diagnosis, less pain, right? And so as we remove those, what are we putting back in there, right? So see, because they've already stated that we have to replace what no longer serves, right? Mm-hmm. So sadness, loneliness, depression, we replace that with connection, which is really what? Love. The more love we carry, the lighter the load. The more love we carry, the lighter the load. The more connected we are to Mother Earth, the lighter the load. And there's billions of ways to connect to Mother Earth. Right? There's billions and millions of medicine out there. And I would say, right, be with, the two-legged, but include a lot of other medicines that aren't the two-legged, because because we live in a world that we're really confused right now. We are killing our mother, and that's not a good thing, right? So when we connect to the medicine, she ceases to be a resource, and then she comes back to placing us a relative, and relatives give life. Relatives give life. What relatives in your life are giving life? Well, if you don't have any, they're all around us all day long. Right? Don't look for the two-legged to give you life. We will be very, very disappointed. We will look like some sort of patriarchal thing if we do. Right? Sitting in our own circle. Then we will think that naming a religion is a good idea. Oneness, and then we will have the illusion of oneness is sameness, right? That's the illusion. If you become one of us, then, we will be saved, right? And that's not what it's about. Connection to the medicine is what will save us all. That's the prayer of Mother Earth. That's the prayer of Mother Earth. Connect to me, and I will give you life. I will give you the content, and I want everyone here to have the same story, similar stories to, the tree story. I am all heart all the time. Right? I need you to write that one down. I am all heart all the time. Okay. I love you, but we're just going to have to wrap it up at some point. I'm really sad about that, right? So I just love talking about this stuff, right? So, okay. We had a real, I just want to say one kind of like side. This is an announcement. We've been working on getting a drone for solely for the MMI, right? We have a situation out in Winnipeg where a couple of our missing and murdered women, they're buried in a landfill, and the colonial government just won't look for it because we're not that important. So we are creating a drone program that when we have these kinds of issues, so that we have some way to go out and look when the Canadian governments won't. So we are we had a big breakthrough this morning about that. We will have a drone donated to us, and so I'm trying to get my tribe involved in that. So let's give prayers for that. And so volunteers needed. MMIW. There's really 3 projects going on, but we'll talk about 2. The T-shirt project and the nonprofit committees are set up. So please, if you want to volunteer, private message me. No longer put it on the feed here because there's 200, 300, 400 things a day, and I might miss that. So please just private message me, and I will hook you up with that group if you want to volunteer. Also, if you want to don't have time, but you would like to volunteer, we do have a way to receive donations that goes to a nonprofit business account here. So please, if you want that, private message me too. I will put that in the feed later. Okay, workshop announcement. Journey through the seasons with Denise Miller and myself, a recovery-based workshop. We are all in recovery. We are going to have a freebie, a workshop, an event that talks about the workshop. That's going to be next week. This week, the workshop announced. The workshop is, get it together. It is March 24th through the 26th. So if you're interested, I will send you information for that. Women's group, International Women's Healing Circle. When women support each other, incredible things happen. This is a Zoom thing. So if you're a female, please, and you have got some issues, we have a beautiful place for you to go. Denise Miller, beautiful grandmother, she's a circle keeper. We have a European, Maureen O'Hara. She helps take care of the circle over in Europe. They do a tremendous job. They heal. They're just a tremendous place, man. So, okay, I think that's it. So. Kept it a little short because we're just running way over. So anyway, I love you. Always the final word is this ceremony may end, but the ceremony in you does not end. So let's take what we lived here, loved here, learned here, and listened to here, and let's take it out to the 4 winds. Does us no good to be all spiritual here. So what does that mean? That means hit that share button. That means also, more importantly, take it in here so we can go out there. My name is Kanipa with Macwa, Standing Bear, and if no one said that they love you today, I love you very much.